I think someone mentioned it yesterday afternoon, Lawrence. I think it was that thing that the oil stock that exploded. Yeah. And McGraw mentioned another one too. And, you know, these things are crazy. You wonder how high they can go, but you know, geez, from $2 to 26 in 2 days. All right, let's get going here. So yesterday turned out painfully as anticipated, pretty darn dull, you know. And the futures contract really doesn't give justice to the dullness of yesterday. So we can just kind of look at, well, let's even just, that was the overnight trading. That was yesterday. Just sideways chop going nowhere all day. And so you can see the little gap down that just went nowhere, tried to go up. And so now we've got these markets here up a little bit, but overall just, again, in no man's land, right? So where are they here? Between around 297-ish. So a little bit up into here. What do we do with this? You know, just, you know, when I say that, I'm thinking about this particular pattern as if we were going to trade this, and it could be anything. Doesn't matter. Just that this pattern right now, this point in time, other than potential day trades, offers nothing. So as we spoke about yesterday, we've got this weekly chart where it tells us buyers are lurking below. And so we got this giant bottoming tail from a couple of weeks ago. And then last week it tried to go down. It made a higher low, which tells us that buyers stepped in at a higher level than here. So a little bit more aggressiveness, and it did push above, but it's just consolidating as if it's just waiting for some news. So it's in the middle of the range here, and no pattern, no event, no something, as Dan prefers to call it, to direct us one way or the other. So I don't know if it makes sense to Dan. He's our options guy, but I don't know if it makes sense, Dan. An Iron Condor above and below these levels is kind of far away, so maybe it doesn't, that there isn't enough premium, but maybe even on a tighter range. I don't know. So I guess something to look at when I see something that is in the middle of a range and directionless. That's what comes to mind. Anyway, markets are on hold, waiting for China, Hong Kong, impeachment, whatever. Next tweet is just running in place here for the time being. We went over internals, I guess, on Friday or yesterday, and they're neutral at this point. They've kind of worked off their bullish levels that they reached over here. Right, they got bullish here, bearish there, and you know, option traders just jumping on the extremes of the range when they get there. Good for us that they do that. Turkey just, yeah, Turkey, right? What's coming next? Anyway, it is what it is, as we say. And our job is not to fight what is and try and make something out of what isn't and get beat up. It's really that simple. And when things change, you have to have your mind clean so that you can take advantage of it. So many get pounded, you know, into the indecision that's being displayed on these charts. And at the point of time where we do have that event, they are frozen in time. So be careful of that. So futures here, S&P's pushed up toward resistance, backed off, you know, in the beginning of the day. You know, we see it's up on the day, right? So we think, oh, well, maybe something's going on here. You know, things up here pre-market. We look at the chart and it's like, there's nothing going on here. It's just going sideways and nothing's happening. We'll see if it can stay at the top of the range or whether it doesn't. But this is just a pattern that tells us don't do anything with this. There are stocks that are moving. There's a lot of green here. You're going through these and the different scans that we use. But as far as the market goes, it's directionless. And the downside of that is the market tends to drag things around with it. So even stocks that are strong may not move so much unless we were looking at this SES, whatever news is related to that yesterday exploded. It got started the day before, and that's on its own page. So you can find things that are on their own page, but the big stocks, the Apples and Googles and others, they just tend not to do too much, or they have a lot of false breakouts and false breakdowns. Because the market doesn't go anywhere. So anyway, I see Goldman down here a little bit. JP Morgan, I think beat. I don't know if that was up a little. So kind of things moving in opposite directions there. NQs look like they could get to the top of the range. Big deal, right? Stuck just below 7,900 there, up at resistance. In other words, we have no void here. As an intraday trader, sure, there's the potential to maybe do something this gets going. I mean, that could even be a big move, considering if things could get going. So as I look at this and say, well, this already poked into this resistance area, which has a tendency to weaken that. So one of the concepts that we teach and you need to learn about support and resistance, many will look to the left and say, well, what about that over there? How can you buy here when that's lurking over there? So we look at that and say, well, this gave it a little test. And, yes, it moved down. And then this came up and gave that a little test. And then this move up, it came pretty deep into it. So all of this bottoming action, the depth of retracement here, and now if this should be able to clear that area, you need to think long and just put that bias in perspective. Now, this weekly chart, as explained, this, poke down, bottoming tail, so on and so forth, that is supportive of having a bias that this could move higher. It's just not happening in the moment right now. So we just keep monitoring and reading what's happening and, take advantage of when the move starts and hope it just continues and it's not a whipsaw. That's the market environment we're in and nothing we could do about it. YM up at resistance, and we'll see how it deals with it. We may just have another, inside days. Some of the earnings that are coming out. JP Morgan, I just saw it here, up about $2.50, coming up to 120. So, I mean, that's a nice plus for the market. But I saw Goldman Sachs was down $5. This is updating. Here it is, right, down 442. That being down, it kind of neutralizes things as far as the financials go. So we don't have those firing on all cylinders. The Russell just dead in the water here. It's flatlining sideways here on the hourly chart, down at the bottom of the range, bottoming tail, tempting to go up. Maybe can get some legs here today. Same story. Oil, bottom of the range, couldn't get going yesterday. Just flip-flopping around here. A lot of running in place, waiting for the next news event to try and push this market in one direction or the other. Bonds, down at the bottoming tail bar. Look to the left. Here you go. I had to say it. Look to the left. Why is it stalled here? Because it's stalled there before. Buyer stepped up again, so they're stepping up here to see if it's going to hold again. So if this continues to drop, say down to the bottom of the range, that means that TBT, or the inverse, interest rates should be moving up. And this now could turn into a measured move to the upside there, which theoretically should get the markets rallying and maybe to new highs. And this yield curve chart, the 3-month versus the 30-year, you can see the big improvement that there's been over the last month or so, where it just peekabooed under inversion, and now it's back up above the 0.50 level. So there's been a lot of improvement there, which kind of subdues those fears of recession. It doesn't mean it can't happen, especially with all this going on around the world. So we're always kind of on the edge of our seats here in this market because of the trading range. If it was in a solid uptrend or a solid downtrend, it would be relatively easy. And that's why it's not just going sideways. It's a picture of uncertainty. Gold just flip-flopping around, but that weekly chart is just getting ready. You know, with this pattern here, this could be a little retest. It could be a dip under here. It's just clearly it's in an uptrend. There's no swing lows. It's got this congestion right there. And this is flagging, if you will, down into this minor support level where at some point, you know, historically, this kind of a pattern turns back up and this should move higher. So it's just trying to rebuild right now after it's run, right? The consolidation, whether it's profit taking, call it whatever you want. This weekly chart is in an uptrend. The monthly chart broke out some time ago on that move. And so now we're just waiting for this daily chart, maybe to W bottom here or just begin to flatten out. It's just not ready yet. And so that's what this is communicating. It's just not ready yet. So we continue to monitor. Silver, same story. It's just not ready. Little, you know, more sloppy price action with the tails there, top tail, bottom tail, but it's just working off the move that it had. And so this takes time. You know, as it does that, our job is to monitor, send an alert at, you know, what could be a significant level, getting above here at 18. Maybe it comes down here where we would be looking to buy it because of the weekly uptrend and a retest of that low. And we see what happens. Looking at the transports, as I always do, same story, right? The story is the same everywhere. Some things show a little relative weakness to the ones that are showing relative strength. So bottom of the range, reversal, buyer stepped up. You know, can they get past the middle of the range? And we wait to see. You know, that's what this market is all about. Looking for more information. What's going to report earnings? Are they good? Are they bad? And so on. So I see UNH here is up nicely pre-market. City of Schwab is up a little bit, which got crushed with the others on lowering interest rates to 0, which you know, kind of the conversation we had in the green room. Some of these, they're saying, okay, their commissions are 0, but you have to use this platform that probably allows them to maybe not give you the best fill. And so kind of a trade-off there. But like IB, if you want to use their platform, I heard TradeStation, you're going to use their higher end platform and such. No, you're not getting 0 commissions, but maybe that's just part of the process of getting to 0 as they move to that level. We'll have to see what happens over time, but pretty interesting from the days when I started out, where commissions were. You know, we always thought that maybe eventually they'd get to 0, and different, I think this Robinhood thing, you know, it's all about, you know, whether it's fees or whether they're selling your order flow. They're in business to make money. So whether it's commissions or they're selling your order flow, as long as, you know, you as an active trader and investor aren't getting screwed on the fill too terribly, I guess it's all okay. So that's it, Dan. I wish I could say more about these markets, but there's just not much going on here, and it's a little bit of a bore. But eventually, as we all know, it's going to break one way or the other, and we're just waiting to see what happens. But there's stocks that look like they're perking up, like that Nvidia got that upgrade today, and that looks like maybe it's going to move into the void. We'll see what that does.
Yeah, exactly. Even though the broader markets might be doing that, we find stuff every day. Hey, Greg, I've never gotten this error before. It says you cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing. Maybe that's because I had an upgrade today, this morning.
Yeah, there was an upgrade. I did it last night. So let me stop and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently I can't kick you out like I love doing.
I never knew you got a thrill out of that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we got a bunch of opens. Let's go through them here. Look at this little thing, WWN or WWR. When you were talking, I just saw it on the ticker ripping by. I got it gapping up here. Wow. Alrighty. Weekly options trader. You know, we still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 open trades.
Dan, before you continue, I don't know if you saw the email that I just copied you on. You know, it's so great. We've been in this business a long time, and many years ago, in the office that I had in White Plains, people used to come from all over the country and all over the world to trade with me, and learn, of course. And I got an email from a fella that traded there for a long time.
Yeah, John, I remember him.
John,
yeah.
At 1999.
I remember him.
And it just brought back memories of all the people that were in trading at that time in the room. And, it's great to see that people are still doing it and learning. Here's George. George went there. So in the green room, it's great. It's great. It's been a long time and it's been a lot of history, and to still have, those that started out so long ago still here, and we're just doing it over the internet. It's just fantastic. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, no, yeah, he wore glasses, very calm, professional guy. Yeah. All right, glue. Yeah, I like it. That's a nice gapper up to $6. I'm putting it in a window here in the bottom right. Looks good. All right, back to weekly options trader. We have 9 open positions. So even though the market's doing nothing, all our stuff's doing well. APPN, we did a put spread for Friday, a 50-45, and looks like it's gapping up a little bit, light volume, so it's hard to tell. Boeing, we did a put spread. We did a 367.5, so way down here. Look, this my 50. This lights it up, so it's about 368. So we should be fine. Intel, we're short the 50.5 puts for Friday. Now, short puts, spread. Shop finally woke up yesterday. This was the 3rd time we've traded this in the last couple weeks here. Square gave us a little scare yesterday. We held our breath. Our short strike is the 61s. And now that's actually a bullish pre-market right here. Broke down a little bit on the 15 into the close. Now we're gapping above the high and going sideways. That might even give you a day trade up to $63 or so, but I'm sure we can find better. BMW put spread. Schwab put spread. Acting great today. I don't know if that's on the heels of the earnings or what, and who cares? Who cares the reason why it's acting well? I'm just going to manage it like I do everything. Target, we have a put spread, the 105 100s for Friday, and we also have a bull call debit spread. That's doing great. Now the swinging options trader, AMT, we have a covered call. So even though it's dead money, we're making money on the short calls. Beyond, we shorted this, weak animal, gapping up a little bit, but we're in trail stop mode. Let's see, we shorted it at 132 and 132.25. So we are up $7 right now on a full position. IRT, we have a covered call. IYT, put spread. J-Bull, covered call is a core trade. Look at this weekly. You know, so this is a good example of multiple time frames. Somebody might have said, oh, danger, danger, we got a double top here on the daily. Well, possibly for short-term consolidation, but look, that's a wide range. That's a bull. Well, let me back up. This is a bull 180 reversal at the 20. Well, let me back up more. Look at this pro gap right here. It negated this downtrend. That is by definition a pro gap. Deep retracement over this controlled pullback, 180 reversal, another bull gap. That's the day we got in, folks, on earnings. So possible short-term M top, but because of that, we sold the out of the money $36 calls twice for a covered call. Look at the weekly. 1, 2, 3 inside bars at the top 80% of this. Look at the monthlies, a 1, 2, 3 continuation if the month closes like this. So these are all in beautiful alignment. And that's why it's a core trade to us. Like JCOM, we're just in trail stop mode. That was just a beautiful daily, weekly breakout. Kim, another core trade. It has a beautiful daily, weekly, monthly. NVIDIA, core trade to us. Daily, weekly, monthly, look great. We actually have a covered call. We're short the 192.50s. When it, you know, we entered on this gap up day, and you know it was selling off a little bit. So I said, let's sell the 192.50s, lower our cost basis. So we're in a nice profitable position right now. And we also have put spread. SITC is another core trade. So look, that's like our 5th core trade. That might be a record, Greg. Wow, 5 of them. And we're just silly chart readers. Tilray gapping up here, but we have, we're short stock, and I've just been in trail mode. Let's see the stop I have posted. And we shorted it at 22.95, so we have a $1.50 open gain. My stop is 21.66 that I have posted. And I'll just leave it, see what it does in the morning. Here's core trade number 6, Velo. Daily, weekly, monthly look great. Finally, XLE, put spread, just, you know, major support trade. Hey, Trader Wells and whoever else I might have missed, if you can put your drop down to all panelists and attendees so we can see everyone's questions. All right, that's it with opens. Clint's asking about Roku. It was on my list yesterday, and I said, let's see how it closes. And it closed weak. And you're right, now it is. You know, put it back on your list. My target 130. Let's see if it sets up as a directional, but I'm more inclined for an out of the money put spread under this green bar for Friday. So glue, yeah, let's keep an eye on glue. This was the one I mentioned, pre-market, APHA 517. So that's a bullish gap, but gap into congestion, there's no pattern. SEDG was actually a bullish pattern, but not one to act on yet. And now it has a bearish gap down to 86. Still no pattern. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Maybe a condor. All right, thanks, Debbie. 41.75. This is a bearish gap. Wow, that's bearish on the daily and weekly. Look at that, gapping under all this. And it has room to fall. This is a perfect example of a price void. Look, the move from this bar all the way to here. Look, other than this tiny little pause, just straight up. So that means it has room to fall. They could, you know, target could be 37 bucks. Let's put that in this window. Pags beyond, we looked at LIN 196. Now, this would be what we call a failed sell setup with a price void, but it's still at resistance. So this, and I like the weeklies of 1, 2, 3. This might be a good 30-minute high candidate. Let's see what it does at the open. I'll put that in a different window on my other computer. CGC was a little marijuana stock, still in a nasty downtrend. WWR we talked about. Beretta 149. Wow. Wow, look at that monthly breakout at 30 and change. There's that has to, it's either, I'm just guessing, that has to be either a bio or a buyout, one or the other. Fine, we already talked about that. SES getting clocked here. You know, things that go straight up like that look pre-market. It looks like a short, bearish consolidation. Or NVIDIA acting well. XLF with all these banks, but there's no pattern there. Maybe now this would be a good condor. You would sell, you know, the 29s and, you know, whatever. You got two choices, 26.50 or 26. But there's typically not good juice on those. I don't like the way that trades. You're gone. Beamy 1055. This looks like another. Oh, shit. Jesus. Oh. Come on. Why doesn't my cancel button work? God, that's so annoying. All right, I'm locked up. I gotta control alt delete. This is amazing. This platform that Greg makes me use.
Don't get me started on that.
All right, good thing we have a minute to go. All right, trade station and task. Oh my God, it's still not working. All right, you know what that means. I gotta use TC2000. Whatever I did, locked it up, and it does not want to play nice today. Oh, there it just showed up. All right, here you go. Schwab, I said to bid a nickel, and I'll bet we're out right now. Target met. Yeah, I said bid a nickel. It was a dime yesterday. So Schwab is out at a nice profit. Hey, Gertz. All right, yeah, Roku strong. I'm watching Beyond. All right, our Tilray, I think just hit the stop, so we're out of that at a profit. Q's holding. Well, Q's look good. Amazon is a put spread idea. Let's watch that in the first 30 minutes. Facebook too. Google's a mess. Apple's overbought, so I'm not chasing that. Oh, I didn't get to these banks. I can do them now. WFC, no pattern. UNH, nice.